Hey, what's up, social media family? Back here with Pastor Josh, Albany, Georgia, one of my favorite churches to be at. They're good Southern people. So we're going to talk about a prophetic word that Pastor Josh had, and it was about prodigals. There's so many prodigals out there. I'm talking prodigals to families, prodigal to churches. There's even some prodigals in the business realm that's supposed to go back. And a lot of times what happens is people will think they learn everything they need to learn somewhere, and they want to step out on their own, but they weren't through learning, developing, and also serving their mentors. And a lot of times their mentors were actually going to leave something to them. And you never know what God's going to do, but I want you to tap into that prophetic word that you had on it.
Yeah, absolutely. I was, praying early this year about what God wanted to do, and the first thing He spoke to me about was revival, and that a revival was coming. And I was in worship 2 weeks later, and God spoke to me, and He said, the first fruits of that revival will be the prodigals. And that is going to be because of the faithful prayers and intercession of family, grandmas, grandpas, moms, and dads. You guys have been praying for your lost loved ones, your prodigals, to come back home. And so when that revival comes, the prodigals are going to be the first ones that are running back to the Father's house. And so I want to encourage you that if you are believing God for your prodigal to come back home, that this is going to be the time, that God has heard every one of your prayers. He's seen the tears that you cried, and the prodigals are going to come back home.
I remember the second prophetic word I ever gave in my life. I was sitting in a church, and the Lord said, go tell this couple he's coming home. That's all He said. I walked over and I said, hey, he's coming home tonight. They looked at me. I didn't know these people. And they said, we had a son that left our house 6 months ago. Haven't talked to him. And the next Sunday they came to church and he returned. There's a lot of times, even in like natural families, there's prodigals. But a lot of times in ministries, I've had ministries over the years that when I started building a ministry, my whole heart was to give it to somebody else because I knew that I had something else I was going to do. And right about the time I was wanting to shift and give that ministry over, they said, it's my time to flourish. I need to step out. But I never told them I was going to give them the ministry. So they left. And within 6 months, we'd already had plans to shift the ministry over to them. Wow. And the thing is, they left prematurely. One time I had a spiritual son that said, I need to leave. I need to go do my own thing. And I said, hey, look, stay with me 6 more months. You're not fully, I believe, where you need to be. And he said, you're holding me back. I said, whatever. He said, you're holding me back and all this. Well, within 6 months, he crashed and burned. He's no longer in ministry. I was going to give him the ministry we had at that time, but instead he wanted to go do his own thing, and he crashed and burned. A lot of times in life, people say, well, you're trying to control me, when actually people are trying to develop you. Yeah. It's like, I remember my oldest daughter, when she was 10, she said, Dad, let me drive. I'm like, girl, you're 10, okay? Stick to the golf cart, okay? Yeah. I've seen how you drive it. But when she was 16, she was ready to go. And it's like that in life and ministry. There are so many prodigals that need to return to get completely developed and restore relationships. True mothers and fathers will always welcome a prodigal home. Yeah. And a lot of times pride or insecurity says, I can't come back where I need to be. And why this word resonated with me is I have so many prodigals that God said, I've already told them to return in ministry. Wow. And some in business. And this year we've actually seen some in business already come back to us in some different things. But the prodigals are coming home in this season. That's right.
And I just want to share this for any parent. A lot of times parents feel guilty. They feel like it's, because of something that they've done. Many of you went to church in very religious environments, and part of the reason why your kids rebelled were because of the churches that you were in that were full of legalism and religion. And hey, you did the best that you could with the time that you had. And so you need to get the guilt off of you. You need to understand that it doesn't matter your failures as a parent. He is the ultimate father, and he is going to hear and respond to those prayers. And so you need to get the guilt off of you. There are no perfect parents. Many people that I know that in my own church who, they experimented with drugs when they were young, and then their kid is now, gone out into full-blown addiction, and they feel like it's just, the seeds that they sowed in their youth, come into fruition in their life. And so you need to reject every lie of the enemy, every lie that says this is your fault, this is the reason why it's happening. You need to get that guilt off of you and lift your faith to believe again that God is going to move in their hearts and in their lives, and pray that God will begin to reach them through unexpected people. When you've been trying to reach somebody, you've been trying to bring them back to the faith, a lot of times your words can fall on deaf ears. And what we're seeing happen in our church is that God is using teenagers to bring prodigal parents back, right? And so I want to encourage all the grandparents on there. And so whenever we have water baptism at our church, we have our youth get baptized, we tell them, invite your parents. And so what we're seeing is that parents who have been out of church for years, for decades, they're just coming to church just to see their kids get baptized, and God is moving on their hearts. We just shared a testimony 2 weeks ago of a parent who said, it was my job to lead my kids spiritually, but my kids have led me back to God. And so God will use unexpected people and unexpected sources to lead those prodigals back home.
Amen. And hey, there's something about Gen Z. I'll tell you, they are powerful. Here's what I want you to do. You got homework today. I want you to get out a piece of paper, and I want you to write out every prodigal in your personal family. It could be prodigal parents, prodigal grandparents, great-grandkids, grandkids, whatever. Prodigals in ministry and prodigals in business. God will keep putting people on my heart. I said, Lord, they walked away from us 10 years ago. And the Lord says, I'm dealing with them to return. Would you join with me? Jesus is the right hand of the Father interceding for us. Join in with the prayers of Jesus and intercede for those prodigals to come back. This is the season, and as you said, this is where revival starts. My apostle, Ken Malone, has said the same thing. Revival is going to start when the prodigals start returning, and we're already seeing it. Hope this video blessed you today. Oh, tell them about your YouTube channel.
Yeah, if you just search Joshua Copron, Copron, you'll be able to find my channel there.
All right, love you guys.
Thanks.